Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, 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 money.
Dollar.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Miss Charlene, and welcome to Lunch with the Finance Bunch. We're on Dash Talk Radio.
Dash Talk Radio.
And the voice you hear is, who are you?
The one and only God's gift, Matthew. Tuning in, baby.
Here we go. And we have Joab Carlos in the studio with us today, and he is a director and an actor. And it's so good to see you again.
Thank you. Good to see you. Good to be here.
Yes. You know what? When Matt told me you were coming on, I was excited because we've known a little bit about each other, just a little bit longer than some of my other guests. So we'll talk about that later on in the show. But I'm really happy to have you here. Now, this is your first time on the show, and so my audience doesn't know you. So I'd like you to tell us a little bit about yourself.
Don't worry, you can throw out all the stats you want to, Joab.
Oh, no. I got to keep it humble. I'm actually born and raised in Haiti. Moved to the state when I was 17.
Okay.
Lived in Florida, learned the culture, and then I moved out here about 10 years ago in Los Angeles. Love it out here. And got into business. I do mostly commercial acting and commercial directing, and that's where the focus is at right now.
I love it. Now, people don't realize, at least me, I'm not going to speak for all people, but myself, I didn't realize that what the depth of that industry, of creating commercials and directing commercials and being an actor in a commercial, how lucrative that can be and what a large industry it is.
Yes, it is. It's very lucrative. It's massive.
Yeah.
You constantly have to reinvent yourself, meet the right people, do the right connections, get out there and try to get your work out there. And it's very, very competitive.
Yes. It's like a nonstop hustle.
Constant hustle.
Now, how did you wind up in entertainment in this field? How did you wind up here?
You know what? Sometimes I just lay back and ask myself the same question. It's just kind of like one of those, one thing leads to the other. Initially, my wife and I, well, she was my girlfriend then. When we moved to LA, we were both dancers.
Okay.
So I was dancing, like doing like hip hop dancing, and
so you was out here pop locking and stuff like that?
Just like bust it out, get in a circle and do all that stuff.
Joab said he still got it and will challenge you anytime you're ready for it.
Any day.
Any day.
Yeah, that's still in the vein, it runs deep in the core.
He said you don't want these problems.
You do not want that smoke. But we came out here for dancing, and we were out here in the scene, and I started auditioning and, the whole 9 yards, get agents, take class, whatever. And then from there, we started going out on commercial auditions for dancing.
Oh, okay.
And then once you start getting there and you get bit by like the acting bug, and then you kind of like, okay, well, this is something that like acting, you can do this till you die.
Right. Exactly.
Like when you
keep
dance,
reinventing yourself with it.
Exactly. When you dance, you get to the point where like you can occur an injury, and that can put you out for your career or like for like a long period of time. And by that time, someone else done come up in the scene, and then you kind of like fell in the shadow. And stuff like that, and you can always recover and come back, but pretty much you do have, and the competition is much, much more fierce. Like here is in Los Angeles, you face the best of the best.
Right.
From all over the world, they move here. Like if somebody's like a top dancer from where they're from, like anywhere in the world you can think of, they live here.
Word.
So or if they don't live here, they're out here constantly working and getting those jobs, and then they go back home and come back for the next gig, and they make a name for themselves, and there's like circles, cliques, and all that stuff. Like it's a network. It's just like everything else,
Exactly.
And
but it definitely seems like in the dancing world, it's like an even like tighter, smaller like network where you really have to rub shoulders and get in with the right people.
Yes, to get in is tighter, but the amount of talent that's there, I personally feel like it's much more cluttered.
Got you.
Like it's like so many. Like I remember auditioning for Lady Gaga when she was coming out, and It was an 8-hour all day audition, and it was 500 dancers who auditioned
Wow.
for 4 guys they were looking
Jeez.
Wow.
for. Yeah.
So you got to make cut after cut after cut.
Cut after cut after cut after cut, and then once you're done with the cut, and then you make like, let's say, top like 40, then that's when they start doing like groups and groups, just not based on skills, because by that time, if you make top 40 out of 500 people, you're good.
Yeah, it's like you got the skills.
And to tell you, like, out of 500, probably 400 is like sick dancers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when you make that top 40, you skill is not a question, but they want to see who looks right with each other.
Got you.
So it's so many different things that has to line up with that career, for you to really excel in it. In addition to like knowing, building those relationships, the choreographers have like a relationship with them,
Right.
different politics that goes on in every field and stuff like that. So, so it was that, dealing with that. And with dancing, I was like, booking your gigs and your resume and stuff like that, they're not going to book you the next job
Right.
quite often, because everybody have the same resume in terms of like they've all done like big things, tour for big people or whatever.
Exactly.
So it's mostly like who who you are, a little bit of that skill set, but like everyone has a skill set at that level. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of, to come back to our original question,
Yes.
that kind of was like one of the things that I evaluated, and the money in comparison from dancing to acting
There's no
is
comparison.
no comparison.
Yeah.
You were like, all right, I know where I'm going.
It's a world of a difference. And another thing was like, unlike dancing, with acting, your previous job can land you the next gig.
Yes.
Right.
You see what I mean? So it's a decision that I was like, okay, I love dancing, but the money and the possibility, and I really like acting.
Right.
So I was like, the possibility of like, I'm not going to hurt myself acting, and
Right.
I can have a a long career, through acting. So
That's really lucrative.
exactly, so I'm like,
And residual.
I want, exactly. And that's I feel like financial freedom comes with residual income or
That's
passive
right.
income. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So to me, I was fortunate enough to realize that at a young age, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try this acting thing. So I focused on commercial acting. Quite frankly, is knowing that I didn't have a strong acting background or like any type of like strong training, and I was just starting at the time. So it was best to just go through commercial, because commercial is more like personality and looks.
Right.
That's like how you get your gigs.
Right.
You have a great personality, you're relatable, you like the guy next door, the all-American guy. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna test the waters. Not that I was close to like TV and film and stuff like that, but I was not like really like crazy. I was more intimidated
Right.
by that, because you see some real talented people.
Exactly. And you're like,
there are some actors out there that can blow your mind, So
shout out to Denzel, by the way.
For real.
So, when you're getting in a field, of course, when you're getting in that field, you're like, okay, you have to respect the craft and know your rank. So
Right.
I started going through like, let me go ahead and do more training and taking acting class so I can start, but for commercials, to at least get on the easier side of it. Not that I'm not saying commercial acting is easy. I'm just saying
Right, but
it's
just to, like-
easier. It's an easier way to like get your feet wet.
Exactly.
So
that way you could be warm for like if you want to step over into the next. Now you kind of have like a feel and then like a foundation to kind of like take another step on.
exactly. So I ended up going that route, but that leads me to commercial directing.
Yes.
And
Which is my
directing
next
as a
question.
whole. But for directing, how that led me through directing was, I actually, once I started auditioning, got an agent and everything, I needed to get a reel done, and at the time, they had DSLR cameras started coming out and stuff. I had no clue about filmmaking. I just needed to get my reel done. And when I was getting pricing around at the time back then, people didn't have access to cameras like that. Back in
Right.
08, DSLR
Right.
first started coming out. Not many people knew about like DSLR cameras or filmmaking or were that interested, because Instagram, I feel like, is one of the platforms that kind of push filmmaking and just like content creators, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook,
Right.
you know what I mean? But mostly Instagram kind of ignited that and pushed it to a whole different level.
Right.
You know, so back in 2008, I was like, okay, I need to get my reel done, but I was getting prices, and because the market wasn't so flooded with like filmmakers and people who could help you just get a reel for cheap at the time, I felt like all the prices that I was getting were like the amount I could spend to get a camera.
And you're
So
like,
I was
that doesn't
like,
make any sense at all, especially if you might have to do it multiple times. You're like, I might
Exactly.
Why
as
not
well
just
just
buy,
buy
invest in a camera?
and that was my thinking, because I was like, if I go ahead and purchase a camera, although I don't know anything about filmmaking, I can easily go on the internet and then just learn.
Right.
Exactly.
Everything's
Especially even
on
like
the
with
internet.
YouTube, like you could how
yeah.
to do anything.
Everything was on there. So I was like, I can just go ahead and purchase the camera and learn, you know, which if I knew the stuff I had to learn, I probably wouldn't have gone that route.
You're doing like, let me close all these icons.
I know, but but I was naive about it. But I felt like, you know what? I'll just buy a camera and I can shoot my reel anytime I need it. And as an actor, you want to update your reel ever so
Exactly.
often. So I was like, I don't want to have to pay like $1,300, which was the price around then. Now you could get a reel done for like $150, $300. I don't know how good of the quality, but you might be able to find someone who's really skilled, a skilled filmmaker,
Exactly.
who has all the equipment that can give you a decent enough to start and get out there and, you know, showcase your talent on a reel. So I went ahead and purchased the camera, and then I went through like the whole process of learning filmmaking, tutorials, YouTube, and all that stuff. And then I got into it, which I never shot my own reel ever. I was shooting everybody else's but mine. You know, because all my friends, they were like, hey man, I know you got the camera, you told me about it, it looks
Hook
good,
it
blah, blah, blah,
up.
blah. Can you help me out? And I was like, yeah, of course. You know, and I just wanted to do it because I wanted mine to be like well done when I shoot it. So as I was learning filmmaking, you know, and different techniques and little, you know, the starting steps and stuff like that, I was like, okay, I'll just practice on doing my friends' reels, headshots, random stuff here and there. You know what I mean? Just go ahead and do street photography,
Right.
just to get familiar with like camera lenses, you know, and all the rules, everything like about filmmaking that you had to
Right.
learn to get going. And I just never got to do my own reel. But during that process, as I keep learning and learning, I fell in love with just creating
Dope.
and bringing your own vision to life. So it's like you think of a story, and then regardless if it's like long term or short term, and then you bring that story to life, and people can relate and learn. It can move people and make them feel a certain way. So that's the part that I really fell in love with, and that's where the passion's at.
Dope. And it all gets created from your original idea. You know?
And it
Absolutely.
all started because you didn't want to pay someone what the camera costs.
That's
That's amazing.
Yes, that's where it all started. Like that's what sparked it. you know.
Yes. So we're going to come back and we're going to get more into your career and where you're headed.
Okay.
I'm Miss Charlene. You're listening to Lunch with the Finance Bunch on Dash Talk Radio. Matthew, we're going to go to break.
Let's do it.
I'm Miss Charlene, and welcome back to Lunch with the Finance Bunch on Dash Talk Radio. And we are in the studio with actor, director, Joab Carlos. And so we want to
Talk that stuff, Joab. Talk
okay,
that stuff.
so we want to get right back into where we left off camera. Right. So we were talking about, your pursuit of acting and all of that. So let's reenact that conversation, Matthew.
Oh, we were talking about, he was talking to us about how he, when he came out to California, how much he wanted to jump on a dance scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it all started with when I lived in Florida, after I moved to Florida from Haiti. When I was dancing for this artist, and then it was a Disney artist. We ended up going over to Germany. We went on tour. So when I came back, and I was like, wow, in Orlando, like these opportunities comes like once in a blue moon. But out here, it's like every day. And then I thought that's what I wanted to do because like the money was good and you get to travel and everything. So I was like,
Exactly. So it's like you're getting paid to see the world and do
You
what
know?
you love.
yeah, and it was crazy because especially out there then, around that time, we were in 07, and the way they treat you overseas, they're not
Oh,
as
it's
like, it's
amazing.
not a tough crowd. You know, here the expectation in America is just like a whole
Through the
different
roof.
level. It's like the greatest. They're all here.
Right.
So over there,
Shouts out to everybody
You know,
in Germany. We
appreciate.
love you.
yeah, over there they're like the level of appreciation is just like crazy. I mean, the stuff that we were doing was like top quality stuff, but at the same time, the love and the feedback you get from the crowd, the audience, is just like, it was so overwhelming. Like, I'm saying to everybody, the dancers and everything, like
Wow.
you know what I mean? So it was very inspiring, and I was like, okay, this is it. Like, you know, this is it for me. That's what I
Right.
want
You
to
like
do.
lights, camera,
I
action.
love
I'm
that.
here.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, with loving dancing and everything. So when I came out here to LA, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go full force and do all that stuff and dance. So one thing just kind of led to the other. From dancing to through dancing, I got the opportunity to audition for commercial acting, and then from there, and then it's just like I got into like the whole, you know, TV, you know, commercial, and then want to act and get my reel going,
Right.
so I can go out there, and that's what led me through this path of directing and filmmaking. So you really never know. You may think that you have a plan, and you don't know where your journey is gonna take you.
Exactly.
You know? And that has changed my life like tremendously. I'm living my dream.
Dope.
That's
you know.
amazing.
You know, but my dream is nothing crazy. Just to let you guys know.
Well, what is your dream?
My dream is just to be happy with my family and not worry about like paying bills.
Yes.
You know, and take a trip every once in a while. You know what I mean? It's very simple. My wife and I, we live a very, very simple lifestyle. You know what I mean? We're very active people. You know, we play ball. Both of us do. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, Jess, she definitely got some skills.
I love your wife, by the way. She's so
Thank you.
cool.
Thank you. She's super humble. Shout out, wifey.
Do y'all ever play
Yes.
against each other? Because y'all both got like a real competitive spirit.
We have. If we play, I'll win. But if we're shooting, she has a jumper, like a killer jumper for real. She'll put me out. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's not.
So you can't give her too much space to shoot.
I can't. I gotta be on her. But she's been a great support, and you just never. Everything's been great, man. Like, we have a very simple lifestyle, which has also catered to us being in the position that we are.
Yes.
You know, like, we were never like people who are flashy or anything like that. So when we've had our opportunities in life, we made sure that we make like smart decisions, you know, that could set us up to succeed and move and continue to grow.
And that's dope that you have a partner where y'all could both focus on like the long-term goals, but also like put together a strategy for the end game of everything, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah. That's definitely been a big, tremendous help. And even some of my friends sometimes when they're like, man, you know, I look up to you, I see how you guys move and what you guys have accomplished in the past, where you guys came from and where you guys at now. And it's very inspiring. And I tell them, I was like, just don't put a lot of pressure on yourself, because I had a partner that
Right.
helped me. You know what I'm saying? Like, we helped each other, and we've been there for each other since the beginning. So, you know, don't put a lot of pressure on you if things aren't working as fast. It will. You just got to stay consistent and keep working at it.
And you can't compare yourself to other people as far as like the timeline and like when stuff happens.
Never. You should never do that. Never. You know, because you don't know what the opportunities were for someone.
Right.
You
That's
know,
right.
you don't know what they have, you don't have. What they did, you didn't do.
Right.
So you really can't compare yourself, because a lot of the stuff that you see that you may think someone did to be where they're at, you don't know what went on truly in their life that allow them to succeed. It could be something that you probably wouldn't have done. You know, it could be
Right.
a work ethics that you don't have. You know, it could be a million reasons why they're where they're at. So you should never compare yourself to someone else's success.
Right.
Your time will come as long as you keep thriving. And I always say that to everybody, is don't really wait for validation. You know, you don't need someone to validate your work. You really don't. It will speak for itself. You know, and as long as you continue to grow, you're going to get to where you need to be, not where you want to be so other people can be like, oh, he's made it. No.
Right.
Where you need to be, where you wake up in the morning and you're like, I'm happy.
Yes.
You know?
Exactly.
and you're like, I'm not a millionaire. I'm happy.
Right.
You
because
know,
being a millionaire doesn't necessarily make you happy.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
You can have all the money in the world. You know, I know plenty very successful people with ton of money. Money is not an issue.
Yeah.
Endless money for generation to come. They're not happy.
Right. Exactly.
You know, like
I still want that money though. Get the check.
Me too. Me too. But like, at the end of the day, money is not gonna bring you a happiness. It can give you a very fun, joyful, luxurious lifestyle.
Exactly.
But
I
it's
would
not
say it's
gonna give
temporary,
you
but it can't give you like a
happiness.
lifetime of happiness for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, happiness you can't put a price tag on at all.
At all.
Nah.
Ooh, I like this conversation. You know, it's funny you were talking about making decisions and thinking about things because we actually met. Matthew sent you to my office, you and your wife, to talk about purchasing a home.
Yes.
And I was very impressed with you because the both of you, because you both were very methodical. You weren't rushing into anything.
No.
You wanted to see what your options were and to see if this was the right time at that time for you to do it. And I love the decision-making process. You weren't in a hurry. You
No.
know, you were not moved by, oh, this could be the last opportunity, because that's the thing that people think is that I got to move right here, right now,
Yep.
and or it'll never happen again, and it's not true.
No, it's
And
not.
so I remember you saying that you wanted to own income property,
Yeah.
and you wanted to own a home for you and your wife to live in, and you wanted to try to make that decision as to which would come first.
Right.
Right? And then you went away, and then when I heard back from you, you were like, you know what? We've decided to purchase a duplex
Right.
in Florida.
In Florida, yeah.
Right, instead of buying a home here. And to be so honest with you, I was so happy.
Oh, thank
Because I knew that would, if purchased in the right place, if purchased in the right way, would bring you that income you were talking about,
you. A passive income.
a passive income,
Yeah.
so that it could add to whatever you purchased here if you wanted it to. You know what I mean?
And Joab will let you know they definitely bought it in the right location.
Absolutely.
We did. We actually did our research when I spoke with you. You were actually
Yes.
a lot of like key guidance
Well,
to
thank
our
you.
decision, and we liked that a lot. And you were very like informative because that was our first property that we were looking
Yes.
into getting.
Tell Joab, cut that check, Shar. Cut that check. You don't finance money.
No, she was actually the perfect like financier you could go to because she actually she wasn't like someone that would push you. She wasn't pushy.
Right.
She was just like, this is the information. You want to make an educated information. This is what I'll give you, but feel free to do your own research and all
Yeah.
stuff in that. I'll send you what I have and you can compare things and I'll help you through that, which she did. And we're very thankful of that,
Oh,
by the way,
good, good.
And in the long run, throughout some of the information you gave us and research that we had done, is we ended up finding it's good, how to find for a good property, where to get something. And we
Yes.
ended up getting our duplex next to a major university, which is University of Central Florida.
Oh, yes.
in Orlando, Florida. And that way you always have
You
like,
will always
people
have money.
wanting to,
Because
Yeah, there will be
students-
forever college
Yeah.
students.
teachers or whatever. Yeah, so we actually did that, and it's been working for us ever since. And through being patient, like you said, as
Right.
well, and not rushing and be like, oh, I have to get something right here, right now. Although it was killing us to be throwing away money in rent,
Right.
we were like, okay, well, we'll just go ahead and hang in there and just
Yes.
like follow the plan and stick by what we talked about. So we went ahead and did that, and by the grace of God, we were able to purchase our first home here in Los
Yeah,
Angeles in the beginning of this year.
Congratulations.
awesome. Thank
That's
you.
awesome. Yay. I love
Big
to hear
moves.
stories like that.
We all
You
clapping
know?
over here if y'all can.
Exactly. That is the testament to time, patience, focus, and all
Yeah.
of that. So, and it's no wonder why you're so successful
Thank you.
in your endeavors, because you think them through. And I think we're being signaled that we need to take a little break. My name is Miss Charlene. This is Lunch with the Finance Bunch, and we're on Dash Talk Radio. And we will be right back to get some more jewels from Joab.
So tune in.
Tune in.
We'll be back.
This is Miss Charlene, and welcome back to Lunch with the Finance Bunch on Dash Talk Radio. And like I said, we have Joab Carlos in our studio today.
In
and
the
he's
building.
Hi,
Yes, and
guys.
he's an actor and director. And so I wanted to, at this point, ask you what projects you're working on right now.
I have
going
a
on?
couple of stuff going on.
Okay.
In terms of, it's exciting stuff, very exciting stuff. But there's a dilemma here because of the type of project that it is, and it's something that's new, that's fresh, and it's social media driven. I can't really tell much details about it.
That's
But just know
fine.
that it's happening.
But
It's happening.
It's a great project. It's with a couple of social media influencers that are well established on their platform.
Okay.
And it's a show that we'll be launching
Oh, nice.
soon. Yeah. It's actually with Kellyanne Stankus and Taylor Holder.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think also there is another one which is Garrett. But I'll get the name for you guys in a little bit.
Okay.
Make sure you go follow them. They're like great people, and they're exciting. They're like younger kids, and they're like in their early 20s and teenage. So it's a project that tailored toward like the younger audience and how they utilizing social media.
Nice.
So it's something that I'm very excited about, and it's also around their life, and it's very much going to target some of the challenges that we're now facing in our society.
Oh, okay.
You know, so
That's good stuff.
that's like the most exciting project that I have going on right now.
Nice.
I have other stuff on the directing part that's coming up as well. I have different stuff. I see it's hard because when you're doing those things,
Or when you're in
on,
it, you can't talk about
you're
it.
on non-disclosures. So
Right.
really, there's a lot of stuff I would want to be like, oh, I'm doing this for this company, but you can't really say
Exactly.
stuff, you know. So you have to kind of like, because you get in trouble, you get sued.
Oh, absolutely.
Exactly. So
They don't
just
want
know for
people to know, like,
Joab,
what's going
2018 is about to be popular.
Yeah, and I
should
just
be a
want
good
to
year.
I just want to put my invitation in here and request and pressure. So do
Absolutely.
feel the pressure. But I want you to come back once these projects are all in motion.
I will,
and we can talk about it for real.
Absolutely. Hopefully, I'll be able to get some of these guys
I would
in
love
as
for you to
well.
bring them
So
in,
you know, I'll talk
yeah.
with their manager and stuff, see if they're able to come and then make an
Yes.
appearance and
Oh,
talk
yeah.
about stuff, you know, that they have going on, because they also have ton of different projects
projects
going
of
on
their
in their
own.
lives. Yeah, and it would be
Yeah.
nice to have them over. Yeah, so
Oh,
I'll
this would
definitely
be
talk to
nice.
them.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you. I appreciate it. No pressure, but yes pressure.
In terms of like project, I also do have sometimes, and like I was saying, sometimes when you're a creator, a lot of
Yes.
times you don't have to be doing like big stuff all the time.
That's
when
right.
even your own content and stuff that you're doing, you don't have to have validation for it. And that's what I was saying. You don't need someone to tell you like, oh, okay, you've made it big.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, as long as the content that you're making is a solid material,
Right.
try your best to get like good content out there. Like I know validation, when I say that, someone is gonna take it and run with it. What I'm saying is like, it's good to get other people's opinion, but I'm
Right.
saying for you to do and feel a certain way, you don't have to wait for someone to be like, or you're not someone legit because I have not seen your film on TV, or I have not
Right.
seen,
Or you don't have like as many accolades as
your
everybody
film
else.
exactly in theaters, or you know what I mean, and stuff like that on different platforms. Use a platform that you have. Use your network. You know,
Right.
if you create something, get your peers, like your family, your friends, get their opinion on it in terms of like content quality.
Right.
To see like, is it good content? Does it look good? You know what I mean? Is it something solid? Is it informative? Is it something that touches people?
Right.
How did they feel about it when
Is
they
this something
see
I would
it?
want to go to the movies to go see?
Exactly.
Right.
So now once the quality of the material is there, regardless of where that material goes, is pointless. You know, if it ignites and then it goes and then reaches the stars, great. If not, you're still a legitimate good content creator. Like you go to film festivals, like sometimes to some of the less known like mom and pop film festivals that you go to, or friends that put it together, and some of the stuff that they're actually showcasing there, they're amazing. They're great content creators, great filmmakers, and they do just because they love it and they do it, but they haven't had the chance to be on a platform where everyone else in the world can see their work. So, but that doesn't make them any less of a filmmaker than someone who's won an Oscar.
Right.
You know, because maybe if they were in that position, in that like with the same content that they've created that no one saw, they would have won an Oscar for
Well,
it.
no matter one,
See what
two,
I'm
three,
saying?
4, 5.
And it also, yeah, and it also creates for that person a work ethic,
It does, yes.
you know, so that when they do become, you know, when everyone does get a chance to see it, or it does create an audience for them,
Yeah.
they have that discipline.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. Because you hold yourself accountable to what you're putting out there.
Exactly.
You know, and if the stuff that you're putting out there, you know, are making changes in someone's life or could make someone feel a certain way in a positive way,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? And then your job, you've done that. You
Yes.
know, like now, different platform can get you to reach a more of a larger audience,
Right.
and you may not have that platform yet. But as long as you keep working toward it,
You'll-
you're gonna eventually
You
get
will
there.
definitely get there.
Absolutely.
Ooh, this is a great conversation.
Hot topics.
Hot topics. My name is Miss Charlene, and you're listening to us on Dash Talk Radio, and this is Lunch with the Finance Bunch. We'll be right back. This is Miss Charlene, and welcome back to Lunch with the Finance Bunch, and we're on Dash Talk Radio, and we have Joab Carlos in the studio with us, and this has been an amazing hour.
Thank you.
We are just like listening and drinking in all the information you're giving us, because
It's definitely some good tea.
definitely good. You know, and for me, one of the things that I love the most about this conversation is you don't get to see creative people in most instances be able to create wealth on different platforms.
Right.
And so, and I think that is unfortunate, because some of those other platforms could allow them the freedom to be creative.
Right. And
Absolutely.
being structured in their business so that they
Exactly.
can.
Yeah.
And that's actually my long-term goal, because and that's why I actually went that route as well. Anyone with wealth, not that I'm saying, I don't want to emphasize on wealth itself,
But let's talk
we all
about it.
want it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So anyone with like a healthy financial status have multiple sources of income.
That's right.
So the thing is in entertainment, creators, they all chase what entertainment brings, the wealth and the money that you can get, which is tremendous. It's amazing, you know? So a lot of people tend to be, you find two type of creators. You find creators that are tunnel vision and they're all about creating. They really don't even care about money at all.
Yes.
Right.
At all. They don't care if they live in the street, if they don't have a shirt on their back and stuff like that. But that's a personal choice, you know, and there's
Right.
nothing wrong with that. You know,
Yes.
That's just not my
whatever
personal
makes
choice.
you
Right.
whatever that makes you happy. If you happy just creating, and that's priceless, really. And there are a lot of content creators that are amazing, and that's the route that they choose. But then you have the other side of content creators that loves creating still, but they also tunnel vision to like the end goal. Like they want to be the one who's Oscar winners, which is cool. Those are great goals to have, you know. And I think every content creator, if you have that goal, it's a great thing to have. If you don't have it, doesn't mean that you're doing something wrong neither. It's just that that's not something that matters to you.
Right.
You know, so a lot of people, they get tunnel visioned on like, okay, I'm gonna win all these Oscars, Emmys, whatever, and I'm gonna be the guy, and I'm gonna get all the jobs, and I'm gonna be paid decent amount of money per projects, and I'm gonna have that wealth, and that's fine as well. And they stay locked in. So that's why you don't see a lot of other content creators focusing on having different sources of income. But that was never the goal for me, because like you know, reading is a good thing to do.
Yes.
Like, although me myself, I can't sit here and try to be all literal and I'm this very, very like book guy. You know, I don't enjoy reading. I'll say that proudly. But however, you can always watch tutorial videos like from like people who are like master in like finance. You know, you can listen to an audio book if you don't like to just sit there and read. I get tired quick and fall asleep when I'm trying to read. So
And there's audiobooks too. Like,
yes. And so you can just listen to an audiobook when you're driving, especially here when you're in traffic on the 405. You can just
There's
listen
nothing
to
else to
something,
do.
Exactly.
and you get all this information. And once I started doing these things is when I realized what it really means when people, because you grow up hearing people say information is power.
Yes.
You really don't understand it. So once I got to understand that, so I was like, okay, what are the steps that I have to do as a content creator? I want to have like multiple sources of income. So when I researched the best market or the best investment for me to do, I feel like real estate was one of the one with the lower risks. And to get into real estate, a lot of people feel like you have to be a millionaire or you have to have a large amount of money just sitting somewhere.
Right.
But you really don't need that. Like you just have to like get your credit right.
Get your credit right.
Save your money. Stop
Save your
spending
money.
money in stuff you don't need
Right.
to make other people feel like, look at me and this is how well I'm doing. When really that money you could have put it away, and in a year or two you could have purchased a property that really would set you up where you could say, look at me.
And that's paying
You know
you.
what I'm saying? And then that's bringing you passive income. So that's one source of income. And when you're doing your creative stuff, you have less stress over
Exactly.
you now. So now your mind can even think freely and be really at your best and create the best that you can, the best content that you can put out there.
And not have to compromise it.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
because you're doing that now, so now you will slowly see your work getting better. And as your work, like I said earlier, if the quality is there in the content, the success will come.
Right.
You know, you will get like you will get to book the gigs and get the jobs that you need. So you'll be getting multiple sources of income. And that's what a lot of creators aren't doing. They're just focused on either just the creative side of it or just like I need to succeed today side of it, as opposed to be like, oh, while I do this, I can be disciplined and set up a different method of income for myself, which could improve my life and release some of that everyday stress that we deal with, like responsibilities. And bills and
So that
stuff.
you can be the best version of you in
yourself.
your creative platform.
And it gives you the
Exactly.
freedom.
It does,
right?
absolutely.
Wow. Well, you know what? This is the balance sheet. This is how you balance your life.
Yeah.
You know, this is the balance sheet. It's not something that has to be either or, but it's the combination of both so that you have the freedom to be the creative person that you were created to be.
Yep.
Joab, I am so happy you came in.
All right, it's a pleasure.
You
I'm
hit
honored
5
to
home
be here.
runs. You know, this is really a lot of content that we can use, and I just thank you so much
Thanks for
for
having me.
taking the
guys.
time to come in
Oh,
and be
it's a
with
pleasure.
us and say hello to your wife.
I will say, hey, babe.
Yeah. This is Miss Charlene. This is Lunch with the Finance Bunch. You just heard the most awesome balance sheet I think we've ever done. And Joab, I'm going to hold your feet to the fire. I know where you live. I know where you work, and I'm definitely looking forward to having you back again.
Thank you. I look forward to come back here to the family and say what's up to everybody.
No doubt.
Yay! This is Miss Charlene. This is Lunch with the Finance Bunch, and we'll be right back. This is Miss Charlene, Lunch with the Finance Bunch, and we're on Dash Talk Radio.
Dash Talk Radio.
Matthew, what was that interview like with Joab Carlos?
Definitely blew my mind with some of the topics that he was talking about, especially like with creating multiple streams of income.
Yes, that was like, for real, the balance sheet of all balance sheets.
You should have seen her. She was over here ready to throw the paper and everything.
I was tempted to throw the paper in the air, but you know, that's a bit dramatic. I can be dramatic. But we're having him come back on because, you know, he absolutely has the sauce.
Too much sauce.
This is Miss Charlene. Listen to us every Tuesday at noon on
Tune
Dash
in.
Talk Radio. Tune in. And we also have a YouTube channel that you can watch all of our episodes.
At the Finance Bunch.
Yes. So listen in. Tune up. We'll be back. And we'll see you next week.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.